Hi and welcome guys, and you clicked on the video because of the clickbait, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna go from this old and boring door cards, both in the back and in the front, to the new design. And welcome to today's video. Over to making the door cards for the car, and this is gonna be interesting. Trying to figure out how we could implement the design that we have in the back. I want to implement that in the door cards in the front. You want to have a red thread through the whole build, and that's going to be really hard. But I think the design part takes the most time, but when we get the design down on the panel, we can just cut it out, and of course I'm 100% sure that I'm going to change something out. The process that I usually do, this is quite flat. It's not the modern door card, so it's going to be quite easy to trace out. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip this around. I'm going to trace it out on the 12mm sheet that I'm going to use for the build. And up on the top on this, I'm going to use, I think, 18 to make the beauty panels and the door handles and etc. But we're going to start off this section with tracing out this door panel. So we're going to have two, and I'm going to do it mirrored. So this one's going to be not the left side, it's going to be the right side because I flipped it over, and the other one's going to be left side. Trace it out, and then the hard part begins with doing the design. I've used them before in the video, but I bought them at Adhesive, and that's these ones that I'm chosen. I used them through the build in the back, so I'm going to use them on the front panel also. I can do whatever I want with this. This is modular, it's like Mechanica. Really simple to use. And then we have, of course, these templates that I can do outlines with. Then we have to see what I'm gonna do next. So, jumping way ahead in the future, I did my outline on the 12mm, and I did my outline exactly on the 18mm. On the 18mm, that's the size I'm going to use for the beauty panel, or I would call it a beauty panel. What I did, I traced out the speakers where I wanted to have them, and you have to think about what you have in your doors. So we measured out where our danger zones were. So for the power window, or not the power window, the manual window, and then we had some other mounting points that we couldn't take away. So that's the first thing you have to check in your door. If you have any danger zones, you don't want to collide with the speakers, and you have done a bunch of work in vain. My biggest problem area is for the manual window lever, and that's that one. So we unfortunately we're going to have to do a custom one, so we can trace it out, and it's going to be away from the beauty panel. So the next stage is that I have the radius and everything done. I'm gonna cut out everything with the Sawzall, and I had to redo the line because I was too snug. I didn't have the same distance from this to the tweeter on this side. So the red line is what I'm gonna follow and use. But I guess you're gonna get the whole picture when I'm getting closer to cutting this out and then using the 12mm. We're gonna sink down the speakers into this because I want them to sit flush with the surface on the door card, and then use this as a prolonger on the door side. You're gonna understand that much easier. So I made my outline where I want to position the holes on the panel that's going to be flush mounted onto the door card, or door side, I would say. So now I have tweeter and the mid base. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use my super tool that I bought at Diabekutan. So what I do, I traced out the middle of this position. Then I'm going to do the outer section first, so that the speaker can sink into the wooden plate that I have, or this door card, and then I do the inner ring, and that's for the hole that the mid base is going to go through. But I'm going to mount this position into the middle, and then I can glide or slide this in and out like this, and then I have my radius. So I'm going to start with the outer radius and then finish off with the inner radius. So we milled out the faces for the speakers. It came out really, really good. I have the right thickness that I'm happy with, so I can screw in the speakers. Maybe this is a little bit too thin, and I'm thinking about making a back plate just to have a little bit more thickness to bolt in the speakers. I'm not going to take wooden screws because I want to have threads. I hate it using wooden screws because I don't trust them, and you can't service your speakers because when you take them once out, you're not gonna get the screw to grab again. So you saw when I did my so-called hockey stick, we can call it, but the chamfer, I made a chamfer on both sides. This is just to resemble the audio stall in the back trunk to the beauty panel and the chamfers that I made in the back of the car. So I have a chamfer on this side, round about here, and then I made just flat all the way on the underside, on the lower section, and just a little bit of a radius to finish off towards the door panel itself. When I had the door panel in the car, I saw that it's much nicer if I'm gonna end it off with a straight and flat bottom end with a nice radius, and the radius is more to be able to put the fabric on without any complications. Now I'm just gonna trying to trace out where the door handle is gonna be, and this looks really, really empty, right guys? So what I was thinking is making my own door handle, and it has to go with the flow with this door panel design. But it's really, really empty up here. So I'm thinking about doing something to mimic this maybe. So I usually just shoot from the hip and use my templates. I put them out, I have some kind of idea. That's how I work. I know that's really hard to explain, but I've been building quite a lot of cars and bikes and stuff like that and interiors. So I just shoot from the hip and write out on the panel and see if it fits. We're also gonna check if the door panel now fits in the car, and I can close the door towards the rubber dressing around the door. That's really important. And the next really, really important stuff is to check if you can close it against your dashboard. So I had the door side in the car, and this is my outline that I have towards where the dashboard comes when I close the door. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna mill down so that I have approximately 6 millimeters left of material, and then I'm gonna finish off the radius, finish off the chamfer really, really soft and nice. And the same here, you can see I already began with the radius, so it looks like it should be there. I know guys, I made this a little bit too high, but I wanted to make sure that the distance between the speakers was really, really a good flow, and I don't think that's going to look bad if I just mill it down and have a soft ending. I think it's going to look more and more OEM plus. So now I'm just going to try to wing it and do my upper design. We're just jumping in the future when I'm done, so you can get a little bit of what I'm thinking about the design. Jumping into the future quite hard. We have our beauty panel onto the panel as you've seen before, and then I traced out where my door handle is, and now I just try to work out the design that I want to. So as you can see, these are mimicking each other a little bit. I want this to be a little bit offset of this radius to make the door panel flow better when you have the fabric on. And here you can see I milled down the beauty panel, and I think this finishes off the door panel really nice. And then of course I made sure that the door panel fits on the door, so I had to cut it straight on this side. I finished off with a really nice radius up here. You can't really see it, but here you can see it's a really nice radius up on the ending of the door panel. And then on the finishing side, the side you're gonna see from the door, you have a really big radius here. And I did that with the milling machine and the mill bit. And I didn't want to bore you with the film clips, but here is the mill bit that I used. So you can see I have my ball bearing, and I have the type of radius I want from the mill bit, and I just put it towards the side, the flat side here, and I followed the outline the whole way around, and I think it flows really good. So what I'm gonna do now is try to trace out this panel, and I think it's still, if I'm doing this panel, I don't want it as thick as this. I want it a little bit thinner. So this is a 19 mil, so I'm gonna choose the 12 mil up here, but I think it's still gonna be looking a little bit flat. So what I'm gonna do, I tell you, I'm gonna put in a little bit of a design feature. It's just a groove, as you call it. So it's like a groove that's gonna go from the one side to the other side, and when the fabric goes into the groove, it's gonna look quite nice. It's not over the top. I don't want these door cards to just shout out audio system, but I still want to highlight the audio system. I know I'm a little bit tough to understand sometimes, but I think a little bit, not in half, a little bit lower, so it goes through in the middle of the door handle. I'm gonna put a groove from here to the other side, and as you can see here, I traced out what I'm gonna first cut out, but I'm not gonna cut it out yet. I'm gonna do the milling, the groove first, because it's much easier to do the groove here now, and then cut it out, and then maybe match the radius on the upside that I have on the top side on the door card. I know it can be a little bit hard to follow the process that I do now, but what I mean with the groove, I have different sections of grooves bits here, and I can choose everything from a rounded groove or to a cover box bit. I can have a wide dovetail bit, a groove bit. So I think I'm gonna use the groove bit, or maybe the round bit. This, guys, I found on Amazon. It's not that expensive. Go for the big case. That's gonna give you best value in the end if you want to do some cool designs. It's really not a beauty contest, because this is how you look when you don't have good ventilation or a vacuum cleaner that sucks up all the wood, but it smells really good. So I hope you like the progress so far. I love it, and I think it's starting to come out really nice. So my thought process now was, okay, I needed to cut out this for the dashboard, and I think I'm gonna round off these edges to make it blend in a little bit more. Then you saw the beauty panel that we have up here. I think the line makes itself really nice. I think I have the wrong side, but you get the idea with the grip. That's the OEM one, but as you can see, it's something missing, and we need a door handle to be able to open and close the door. So I think I'm gonna do something really easy here, and I think I'm gonna utilize these radius so it matches up, but also thinking about the audio install in the back. I'm starting to be really damn happy about the design on these door cards. Damn, it came out really good. Kind of proud of myself, but it looks really good. Look at this. So, door card coming in, banging speakers, nice beauty panels, and a big ass chamfer on the door handle, and it's perfect to lift on. I'm pretty happy, or I'm super happy. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not cocky here, but just getting this design out of the blue, I'm really happy about the work that I did on this one. Looks freaking awesome. So what I'm gonna do next is trying to do mounting points on the door card, on the door, and make it secure. And we're gonna mount these beauty panels with magnets, but the door handle is gonna be screwed in. And we're gonna jump over to what hardware I use to mount everything and what magnets I use to add on to the beauty panels. And this, of course, is gonna have threads in the wood from the backside, so we can screw it on onto the door card so it's stable and nice, and you have a sturdy grip to grip the door card. So as you can see, we have the door card here, or the door side, and on the back side you can see that we have a bunch of countersink holes. We have a bunch of screws sticking out in the back. We're gonna flap them down with the sanding disc, and this is how it looks. So you can wonder how you mount everything, and yeah, so the big panel and the small panel, these two are mounted magnets, and they're quite sturdy. So I need a pile tool. So I just do this and take it off like that. You have the magnets on the side or on the back side, and you have your washers on the back of the panel. But as I said, we're gonna go through everything later on in the video. But this is so pleasing, freaking pleasing, hearing the sound from the magnets. And boom. So you can wonder how we're gonna mount this one. So that's the door handle, and we have these special, or not special, you can find them at a wood store or a Harbor Freight. You screw them into the wood, and in these puppies you have threads, and looking like this. It's really super easy to mount, and it's very sturdy, very recommendable. As I said, everything's gonna be in the description below. So over to the back doors, or the door cards in the back seat. We're gonna have an 8-inch mid base and a tweeter in the back. So what I began with is going into the location in the back, and as you can see, we have our door cards sitting just right there, and the back seat. So I took the measurements that I needed. So that's the door card, that's the card that sits in the back here, and then the green tape is the outline of the seat bench and the backrest. I don't want to go further in than that with the beauty panel that is going to be on the panel. So I know it's really hard to understand right now. Tag along to the other side of the workshop, and I'm going to show you what I did. I did an outline, first of all, of the door card, and that's the whole one. So I did an outline of the whole door card, as you can see here. So I did this, put it there, and I'm gonna do that in MDF as we did on the front doors. So I have the reference, the front door here, and that's how that design came out. Really sick yet again.
did right and left side, and then I started my design kind of thinking. So I wanted to mimic a little bit of the design that I have on the door cards here, and of course I want that to flow within the door cards in the back. Which brings us, which elements did I want to translate onto the back? And one is very 100% sure, that's the line that's going to run through the whole audio system. So it's going to go from door sides in the door panels in the front, go to the door panels in the back, and then of course it's going to even go down or back into the audio system in the trunk. Very important to follow the red thread through the whole build. Me personally, I love that. And then of course I wanted to integrate a little bit of this flow into the door cards, or door sides in the back. So what I did, I took this piece, I took my speakers, lined it out, what space do I have, and I know, as you see, I've been erasing a lot of lines here, and really hard to see which one I'm gonna cut out from. But as you can see here, I took the outline. Up here you have the same pattern, you have the same radius that we have on this side, on the inside here. So I think it's going to mimic, or not mimic, but flow really good with the sound install what we're doing. What I'm going to do now is, first of all, cut out the whole piece. And I'm going to do 2 extra templates. That's going to be the base foundation that we're going to build in the sub, or the mid base and the tweeter. And then I'm going to take this part and cut the middle part out, and then the green line comes into play. Because we didn't want to build out too much on the beauty panel. Otherwise you're going to have to squeeze it in between the bench and the headrest, or the backrest. That's not gonna go. So I'm gonna cut out the beauty panel. I know it's very hard to understand right now, but just tag along. You're gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna try to figure it out while I'm filming this video. But I think this is also gonna be epic. You're gonna be amazed of the end result of the audio install in the Scirocco. So yeah, let's go. So I have my 2 base panels, and I milled out the seatings for the mid base and the tweeter. So that's all done. And I thought that's the same process as we had in the beginning, doing the front door panels. So I didn't film that. I guess go back again in the beginning of the video, then you can see what tools I used and everything. But what we're gonna do now is trace out the bolt holes from the old panel. And what I did, I massacred the old panel that we had. So I had these plastic bushings, or plastic clips, and what I did was I just took out the old ones and I placed it onto my panel, and I drilled 6 holes. So the beauty of this is that these 2 are under the seat, so these 2 are not going to be seen. This one is behind the backrest, and the one that's going to be hidden behind the beauty panel is flush mounted with these kind of screws. And now you wonder, how the heck are you going to screw it in into the car? So Matthias is preparing and drilling up the original OEM holes in the back, and as you can see here, the first one, we have riv nuts instead. So it's going to be nice and sturdy. We're using the M6 bolts, and we're going to use 5 or 6 of them because the panel is going to be quite heavy. And then we're moving over to the mounting of the magnets onto the beauty panel. Okay, moving over to the magnets. and the fastening of all your beauty panels, whatever, I guess. So we have a 10 kilo magnet, and we have just washer, but specifically in the kit when you buy them. And I'm of course gonna put it in the description below. I bought them through Amazon. You can find them there. So just push on the link and you're gonna be up to speed. What we're gonna do now, so you have a hole through the magnet, you have a hole through the washer. So we're gonna do guiding holes first through both of the panels. So I'm just gonna have a really small, a 2 mil drill. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's gonna be way enough because it's just a beauty panel. It's not holding up the whole thing. The whole thing, as you saw, riv nuts. We have per-synced holes where we have M6s, and we have fastened it with 5 bolts, and that's enough. But the mid base is quite heavy, so we need it. So next step, I'm jumping forth and back a little bit, but I'm aligning my panels together to perfection. So I'm gonna do my guiding hole. That's number 1, number 2, number 3, and the number 4. So what do I do with this now? I have these 4 holes. So we're gonna countersink with this. This is a 20 mil drill bit. You can buy them at Harbor Freight, I guess. But I'm gonna recommend you not to buy the ones with the big tip. What that's doing is that I don't have so much material to fasten my screws with the magnet on it. But I'm in the chuff. I don't have the real drill bit at time, so I have to do it with this one. If you have a stationary drill, that would be perfect. Then you're gonna get the depth and the level that you need. But I'm showing you how I'm working. I'm not saying it's right. So Matthias gonna film me drilling a little bit. So we're pre-sinking or counter-sinking into the back panel where the magnet should be. And then we're gonna have the washers on this side, like this. And that's gonna meet up. And the tolerances are gonna be perfect. And I think we're already gonna go to the car and I'm gonna show you how it should sound like and look like. As you saw in the video, we mounted our magnets. We have these 4 positions, and then we have the washers. And yes, I did a mistake. Everyone does a mistake. But now to the important thing. It should sound and look like this. And to perfection. That's never gonna fall off. Look at this. I need to have my rubber or plastic bone to even get in there and get it off. That's 1. That's 2, 3, and 4. This one is never gonna fall off. But that's my secret with mounting all the panels in the car, and it looks effing beautiful. Guys, that's my trick. I'm gonna write in the description below which tools I use, where I bought everything, so you're covered.
We're finally at the stage when we move over to the upholstery. These tools I need to have when I do upholstery. So first of all, we have the only glue I use is the Fast Bond Contact Adhesive 30NF. I apply it 2 times on the panel, on the fabric, and I wait around about 6 hours, and then I can combine them. And you need a heat gun, because when you add heat and pressure, you can never get it off later on. And why I just use this is, it's because it has never failed me. It has not come off. I've used plenty of glues before, and a couple of months or years later it's loose. So what do I need for upholstery? I need a really sharp knife. I really need a short scissor, and why I am saying short is that I need a very round edged scissor, and then this is more for cutting the big pieces, and then I use this, but this is more coming into the cavities and the cricks and nicks on the panels that are very hard to get in the fabric, and then moving over to the fabric. What you should use if you want to make it easy for yourself in life, you're gonna have to choose a super stretchy leather. So we've chosen this one, and it gets even stretchier when you heat it up. That makes your life so much easier. The upholstery guys, they make a heck of a job making all the radiuses cavities look super nice and seamless. I'm not there, so I'm using this. So we're gonna use black leather, and then we're gonna use something called Alcantara, or suede as you call it in US. So we're gonna glue this with another glue, because of the blue glue bleeds through this. This is like an open fabric, so almost like you can see it's like holes through the whole fabric. If you add this glue, it's just gonna bleed through, and it's gonna be blue. So we're gonna use a 3M spray glue. I'm gonna put everything in the description below, of course, and we're gonna have gray on the inside of all the panels. And if you haven't seen yet, I dropped a video last week of the trunk setup and how we did the upholstery and everything there too. So if you have missed that and you maybe are into it, to switch over to the video after this. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna just put you on the time lapse.
Sorry guys, all the video material was erased from the camera, but this is the same process that I did in the trunk setup in the back, gluing twice on the panel, twice on the fabric, and working hard in the radius with the heat gun, the scissor, the knife, and we're gonna move over to showing you the beautiful result of hard work.
Ooh, as you saw, the time lapse was, or I've cut down the time lapse of course, but Jesus, this took forever. But I'm really happy. So with them we have done all the panels, so you can enjoy surely 5 or 6 hours of my work.
This is the end of the video. I'm just gonna say a huge thanks for everyone that's been watching until this minute. The video was quite long, but I hope you enjoyed it. And as you maybe remembered, this is the old door card in the front, but I'm gonna end the video with the end result, and I hope to see you in the next video. But as I always say, have a good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are, and enjoy.